what's quite important, I guess, to visualize, and I'm sure you're going to go into this in a bit more detail, is that what you just saw was very much a text window. That's how a lot of agents, you'll communicate with them. But these can be configured around very bespoke processes that exist in your business. Now, this is just an example of one that was created for a very specific scenario. And I think you touched on it. It's how then that agent is connected to other tools that allows it then to go and do other things, create tasks, close tasks, carry out certain activities, but within a controlled environment, with a governed environment, largely governed by ourselves as the beekeeper, but also then by you as the client, making sure it's doing what it needs to do. It hasn't got access to things that it shouldn't have access to. But it's very much, and as you're going to go into, it's very much that process of identifying different places where it is best deployed. And what you saw was just a very, very brief demonstration. And there are lots and lots of other use cases that can be identified. So it's important to kind of think about and roadmap and understand those different areas. But anyway, sorry, I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Back over to you, Matt.
Absolutely. Perfect time to bring it up, really. Effectively, what we're having a look at here is that agent had a very defined territory. So it's got all of the information around how that business runs from an internal support standpoint. So effectively, what we'd be having a look at there is an internal agent that only operates, it'll never be externally facing. But now, what if you want to go and have a customer support portal, all right, with an agent in there, with all of the information already? I'm sure we've all been in that environment where we've gone onto a website, we've seen the pop-up window, and a bot tries to explain that it has a name and it's going to help you. But it really is just a machine learning process. It's looking for certain triggers. With these agents, you've now got intelligence baked in, context understanding baked in. Plus, it's got all of that information sat in a database with everything that you've got in your environment. So when a customer goes through and says, this is my order number X, Y, and Z, that agent immediately pulls it up and says, I can see that this is your order. We recognize that this is what happened to it. And now it's got your objection handling. It's got your sales technique. It's got whatever you need in there, built in. That's a customer-facing agent. You don't need to watch that. We'll watch it to make sure that it's working properly. But if it is working properly, we will just let that agent do the work that it's built to do. It's effectively just going to keep on running all of that communication for you. If you've got a sales pipeline or a CRM agent that you've got, effectively, if your sales team are building up notes off of each call that they're coming through, have an agent that takes those notes and puts them into your Salesforce or your Zoho, whatever you're using in the back end, in the same format every single time. If you're using Medic, get it to pull up Medic fields on there. It'll allocate colors. You can even get it to score your opportunities that are coming through as well. You can do the same thing for financial reporting. Have you got an agent that is scanning all of the documents that are coming through and letting you know if there are any risks in there? Do the bank accounts numbers line up? Is this coming from the right person? Is there any type of strange behavior that's coming through? So a lot of this will run through automatically for you, and then it'll ping you in your Teams channel to let you know we found something strange because you've put an approval rule in place over there. That's an agent running autonomously in the background. It'll have access to those emails coming through, and if it finds anything strange, immediately you'll be the first one notified. This speeds up the process that people will be having. Now, very importantly, what I don't want to say now before we get to HR onboarding is this is about empowering staff, not about getting rid of staff. This is very much about making sure that there's a human in the loop to make sure that that agent is being checked and is being made sure. When we build up an agent for a customer, we always say you are the owner of that role. You know it better than we do. So we can put in rules to make sure that that's being followed. You've got the skill and the wisdom to understand when something looks a little bit strange or something isn't quite right. A human in the loop element is so important within a business. If an agent is just running by itself, we'll get through to how that looks. But if an agent is just running by itself, you are inviting an enormous amount of risk in your business. For HR and onboarding, this can be done in an unbelievable way. You can basically get the entire onboarding process handled by an agent as though you had somebody holding the new starter's hand right there. If it's onboarding customers, have the agent there for each one of those processes. Once your salesperson has run through that process and the person's being onboarded, they can monitor what that agent is doing as that business is being onboarded, while all of the details get pulled into the CRM. While finance team needs to do their thing, that agent-to-agent protocol is running the entire way. It's freeing your team up to go and do what is revenue generating, not what is admin in the back end. All right. Inventory and operations, it's the exact same thing. They're going to be monitoring all of those different things all of the time. If you want to have an agent let you know when your stock is low and what needs to be ordered and what trends are coming through, absolutely.